Welcome to Culinary Therapy. Today I'm helping 3 cauliflower rice dishes overcome their fears and embrace their inner greatness. Meet our 3 patients, Spicy Steve, Creamy Christine and Asian Andy. Give it up everybody, give it up! We'll dive deep into their unique flavors and help them discover why they're the perfect low-carb side dish. Watch while I cook up these tasty recipes and help our patients find their true potential. Alright, it's time for me to switch roles and get cooking. Let's jump right in and start with preparing the cauliflower. There are a few different ways to get your cauliflower from this to this. For better therapy results, you might want to forge a deep connection with your cauliflower before you start their transformation into greatness. The cheese grater is the perfect tool to accomplish that. It puts you two into contact for the longest time, so you can really cherish your connection. As an added bonus, you can remember the fun time you had days later, when stray pieces of cauliflower continue to appear in the strangest of places. The results of this technique are mediocre at best though. You get a lot of these stringy bits. It won't change the taste of the final dish, but the consistency isn't as nice. This channel is all about reducing friction in the kitchen, so there has to be a better way, right? If you have a food processor with a grate attachment, that's the pro way to get this done. I'm just an enthusiast home cook though, and after I paid a fortune for my blender, my fiancé put her foot down and didn't let me get another machine.
Noch ein neues Gerät? Dein Ernst?
There's a nifty trick though that I learned binging shorts. Chop your cauliflower roughly and throw it into the blender. Fill it up with water and pulse 1 to 3 times. Be super careful here. If you pulse for too long, your cauliflower will be mush. Afterwards, drain everything. And voila, cauliflower rice. Be sure to let this dry for a bit to remove some of the excess moisture before you start to cook with it. Honestly, if all of this seems like way too much work, just get some pre-made cauliflower rice in the store. We have this frozen kind in my local store, but depending on where you live, you may also find fresh cauliflower rice. You can use it as a basic side for things like chili or curry. You just need to heat it up for a few minutes in a pan with a bit of cooking fat. Be sure to season it with some salt. Check out my super easy curry recipe with only 6 ingredients that works perfect for this rice. Today we're making each of the 3 variations, which each of the 3 types of cauliflower rice we just discussed. Stay till the end to find out which type was the best. Welcome back everybody. Now that we got the basics out of the way, let's start with the session. Spicy Steve, in our preparation session you mentioned that you feel anxious about being too hot to handle. Let's talk about that.
Just yesterday, when we rehearsed for this show, a guy took a bite from me and then had to jump up from the table immediately to grab some water.
I see. How humiliating.
That guy actually kind of looked like you.
Me? I think you must be mistaking me for somebody else. Well, let's look into your preparation in detail and I see how I can help you. Heat up a bit of cooking fat on medium heat. Mince 2 cloves of garlic and fry them up in the fat. For some spice, I'll add roughly a teaspoon of chili oil. You can also use a dried chili or around a teaspoon of chili flakes. Even though Steve has had a bad experience with an unknown person who couldn't handle the heat, many people love a little bit of spice in their food. So if that's you, feel free to add a bit more chili at this stage. Afterwards, add the cauliflower rice and then mix up everything well. We only need to cook this for 3 to 5 minutes. You want to have some bite left in the cauliflower rice. Take it off the heat, add some fresh parsley and drizzle the juice of 1 lime over everything. Remember to always taste your food. Adjust the seasoning with salt and pepper to your liking. Steve, the spicy garlicky flavor gives a nice kick. Such a unique taste. This would be great with a taco bowl or just put some fried eggs on top. Really nice. I think whoever made you last time just went a little bit too hard on the heat. Right now I'm loving the boldness of your flavors.
So you think people who love spicy food will find my bold flavors exciting?
Absolutely.
I think you might be right. I was just served to the wrong person. Thank you, Dr. Gigi.
My pleasure. Wow, that was great! Go Steve! How's everyone feeling?
It was definitely you, man.
Well, time for a quick break, I think. Are you looking to reduce the friction in your kitchen? Well, you've come to the right place. I'm David, a food lover from Switzerland, and I'm here to make cooking easy and stress-free with quick, nutritious meals. No more friction in the kitchen, just simple, delicious food. If that's your thing, why don't you subscribe for more content like this? Back to our regular scheduled programming. Next up, Creamy Christine. You told me that you feel overshadowed by more traditional carb-heavy, creamy sides, like mashed potatoes and risotto.
One time, I was served alongside more traditional sides at a fancy dinner party. Everyone ignored me and went straight for the carb-heavy sides. It was like I wasn't even there.
Oh my, I'm so sorry. I try my best to help you out with this one. For this version, start with frying up an onion in a bit of butter. Give it a few minutes until the onion is translucent. Then, add chopped mushrooms and fry them until they have released most of their moisture. Now add the cauliflower rice as well as a cup of cream. You could use coconut milk instead if you want a lactose-free version. After a few minutes, the rice will be cooked through and the cream will have reduced a bit. Add 2 handfuls of fresh spinach and mix everything. Wait until the leaves begin to wilt. Lastly, add a bit of Swiss cheese for additional creamy goodness. And of course, don't forget to season with some salt and pepper. Wow, Christine, wow. There's no way people will be instantly able to tell that you're cauliflower rice. You have such a satisfying, creamy cheesiness. I also love how the spinach and the mushrooms give it that risotto kind of feel. Eating you has all the benefits of a creamy side, without any of the guilt that comes from carb-heavy sides. What else do you need?
You really think so?
Most definitely. I'm sure all those people at the party just weren't prepared for how good you taste.
Maybe this party just wasn't the right time for me to shine. Thank you, Dr. Duty.
The last one for today is Asian Andy. Let's give it up for Andy, everybody! As I understand, you feel pressured to live up to your parents' expectations of using traditional rice as your base. Let's talk about that. I'm so sick of it! My uncle keeps telling me that I'm a big disappointment for the whole family. He says that cauliflower can't feed a family and that I will never find a wife this way. And the worst thing is my father. He just sits there silently, not even speaking up for me. That must be so devastating to hear from your own family. This one is especially close to my heart. I'll definitely help you out. For this dish, start with making some quick scrambled eggs. Put in some butter or cooking oil and wait for it to heat up. While that is happening, let's pull together a quick stir-fry sauce. This basic recipe has 4 ingredients. 3 parts soy sauce, for 1 part of rice vinegar, 1 part of sesame oil and 1 part of honey. Put everything in a small container and shake well. Now scramble the egg in the prepared pan. After it's done, set it aside. Back in our big pan, heat up cooking fat on medium heat and add the white ends of 2 green onions. Preserve the remaining green parts for later. Now add the cauliflower rice and the stir-fry sauce. I'm also using around a cup of frozen peas today. Cook for a few minutes until the cauliflower has reached a nice consistency. This is the rice we made in the blender, and you can see that I was a little bit too impatient. There's still a lot of moisture left in the rice. Add back the scrambled eggs and the green parts of the spring onions. Adjust the seasoning with salt if needed. Be careful though, the soy in the stir-fry sauce is already quite salty. I really didn't expect this one to be this satisfying. The sauce really gives it that Asian feel. I think this would be the perfect replacement for anyone who loves stir-fried rice but wants to reduce their carb intake. Great job, Andy. Thanks, but my parents sure don't think this way. You know, I think it's time to tell them that things are moving on. There's lots of people that are looking for healthier options and still want their taste of home. You can honor your heritage by being delicious and healthy at the same time. I think you're right. I need to stand up to my family. That's the spirit. Thank you, Dr. Tucci. We made 3 different types of cauliflower rice dishes with 3 different methods to prepare the rice. We've had the cheese grater method, the Vitamix, the blender, and then the frozen kind. So, which one was the best? This cheese grater method, unfortunately, it has a lot of these kind of stringy bits, so it doesn't feel like real rice. It's still quite tasty and it's really easy to make because lots of people have a cheese grater at home, but not my favorite. Then we have the Vitamix method, which is really nifty, really quick to make, but also it leaves a lot of moisture inside the rice, which, you know, it's a little bit harder to stir fry. You have to try it out for a long time, so I think also not perfect. And then lastly, this frozen kind really surprised me. I think the texture is really, really nice. It's so easy to produce. Since this channel is all about reducing friction in the kitchen, I'd definitely say that this one is the best because it's super easy to make, as frictionless as possible. It tastes good. Just be sure when you buy it that it's just cauliflower in there and no weird additives. I think it's safe to say there are many ways to create healthy sides without giving up the flavors we've learned to love. In fact, many dishes on this channel honor the same principles, so why don't you hit that subscribe button for more content like this? If you haven't done so already when I mentioned it earlier, check out my super easy curry recipe. It has only 6 ingredients and takes less than 30 minutes to make. Cauliflower rice is the perfect side dish for it. Thank you everybody, and see you in the next one.